Hello everybody, welcome back to Easy Weeknight Cooking with Heart's Desire Spice Blends. Tonight we've got a really great salad that I absolutely love. This is cranberry walnut salad with balsamic vinaigrette. And this is a beautiful summer salad that's a little different and utilizes some of your deep greens. So why don't we go ahead and jump into things? And first of all, we're going to go ahead and make our vinaigrette. Why? Because it wants to sit for a little while we prep the rest of it. So first thing we're going to need, 1 clove of garlic, 1 teaspoon of Heart's Desires Italian herbs. It goes so beautifully with that balsamic vinegar. 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of sugar just to balance out some of the acidity. 2 tablespoons of flax meal. Now, flax meal is a wonderful thing made out of flax seeds that have just been ground up. You can buy it from the supermarket. Bob's Red Mill usually is a good place to look in that section. Or you can use ground psyllium husk. There's several things that you can use instead of this if you just don't have it. And I do recommend, if you have flax seed but not flax meal, throw some in a clean coffee grinder. There you go. You have flax meal. Next, you're going to need 1/2 teaspoon to 1 full teaspoon of salt. You need a little bit of that salty zing in here to make things balance right. 1/2 cup of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar, the dark stuff, so good, and 1/4 cup of hot water. We're going to start off with 1/4 cup of hot water and our flax meal. Gonna mix it up really well. So I'm going to do the entirety of our dressing in a 2-cup measure because it's just a lot easier that way. I have some hot water here. Go ahead and get me 1/4 cup. And then you throw in your 2 tablespoons of flax meal. And the reason you do that is we're going to activate that flax seed. It becomes really thick. And in order to activate it, you really do need some warm water. Now, next I'm going to throw in my sugar and my salt because those need to dissolve. It's really kind of best to do that right away. Throw in the rest of my ingredients. This is the Italian herbs. This stuff is so yummy. Oh my gosh. My 1 clove of garlic. Here we have lemon juice, 2 tablespoons. Keep a stirring. Balsamic vinegar. This stuff is beautifully rich, nice and dark, very fruity. It is made out of wine musts. Now that's the leftover bits of grape when you're making wine, and it's a lot sweeter than most vinegars. Next, olive oil, 1/2 cup of olive oil. Right on in. Now watch how this works. Of course, you've got all of our liquids on the bottom except for our oil. Oil is on the top. When you mix this up with the flax seed, it is awesome stuff because the flax is a natural emulsifier. It actually joins your water-based ingredients with your oil-based ingredients and gives you that beautiful texture that you find from supermarket salad dressings without all that stuff in there. And so beautifully emulsified. Look at that. Would you look at that texture? Okay, now this is going to go aside for probably about 1/2 hour. Let it cool, let all those beautiful flavors just meld and do their thing while we go ahead and put together a salad. Next thing I'm going to do is get out a pan. Okay, toasted walnuts are a fabulous thing to have in your salad. Any toasted nuts. So what you're going to do, you're going to take a dry pan, no oil here, and heat it up. Meanwhile, you're going to throw your raw nuts right in there. Put them in an even layer on the bottom, just like so. And we're going to let these heat up and still until they start getting a little oily. And at that point, we can throw them right back in here and we're good. If any of you is allergic to raw tree nuts, like myself, this is a beautiful way to get around that. What's more, it also adds a just gorgeous crunch to your walnuts or almonds or hazelnuts or sesame seeds. Any nut or seed that you want to put in your salad, just gorgeous, gorgeous job of that. So we have this over high heat, and we're just going to shake it around a little bit and make sure that those are not blackening on the bottom. Instead, they're actually just getting a little bit warm and friendly, my darlings. So while those are doing their thing over here, why don't we go ahead and look over here. We have the equivalent of 5 ounces or about 7 cups of leafy greens over here. You can do one of those pre-mixed greens, let's say baby greens from the supermarket. About 5 ounces is perfect for this recipe. And I'm going to bring over a nice big bowl. What I have here is about 1.5 ounces of spinach. It's already chopped up. I like to go ahead and take a pair of kitchen shears to this, make it into smaller pieces so that when you eat a leaf, you don't have the whole thing sticking out of your mouth. And it's just a lot easier to deal with when you're eating. I also have about 2 ounces of curly kale. Beautiful stuff. Now, a lot of you are going, oh no, kale. But there's a way, believe it or not, to actually prepare your kale in a way that it doesn't go nearly as bitter. So the way to make your kale so that doesn't have nearly as many tannins in it and not nearly as bitter is to, before you wash it, go ahead and cut it. And after it's cut, go ahead and wash it. That leaches a lot of those flavor agents out of there that are not so appetizing. So that is 2 ounces of curly kale. Love it. Now, the last bit of green I have here is a bit of baby Swiss chard. Oh, this is smelling wonderful, and I'm hearing a couple of snaps coming off of this. These walnuts are ready. It does not take long. Once you start hearing the occasional snap and crackle off of those, but really pay attention to your nuts and seeds because they're on the verge of burning, but just before they burn, they're so yummy. So anyway, back to the leafy greens. The way to really prepare your leafy greens is take out this rib here and then just cut them up. Really easy. And this is about 2 ounces of chard. And my favorite way to prepare chard, because I do this quite a bit, is to stack all the chard in one little bundle and then slice down the length of that stack in several places. Turn it 90 degrees and then give that whole bundle a good slice. There we go. And that gives you some good bite-sized pieces. So you're not really dealing with a lot of just huge pieces that you can't get your mouth around. At this point, these greens are beautiful. I love to use a pair of tongs to go ahead and give it a toss and just kind of make sure they're all evenly distributed. And at this point is when I want to put in some of this gorgeous dressing. Give it a quick stir, though right now it has not had enough time to separate. It is still beautifully together. So I did want to make sure that all those chunks of garlic and all the Italian herbs were nicely distributed without falling all the way down to the bottom. Now that I've poured about half of it in there, I want to give it another quick toss. Just coat all of those leaves. Oh, so good. And this is also going to distribute the various leafy greens amongst each other. Now is when we can start putting together the rest of our salad. And this is a work of art, my lovies. We've got 4 ounces of grape tomatoes, and I'm going to just kind of plop them in even spacing around the top, because if you try to mix these in, that will all end up on the bottom. Trust me. Next are my cranberries. Oh boy, I love the depth of color that you get with your mixed reds and your golds and such like that when putting them into a salad. This is just a work of art. And now we're going to artfully array our toasted walnuts. And depending on how hot they are still, you may hear a little bit of crackling as they hit the top of that salad. And that's just so great. That is an experience. And the last thing I would do is a little bit of Parmesan to taste, just as a bare garnish. And this is gorgeous. And you don't need much as a garnish, just enough to dust it, really. Would you look at that? Is that gorgeous or what? You're gonna serve this with the rest of your dressing. Right now I see this is trying to separate a little bit. Go ahead and whisk this up just before you serve. You're gonna put your dressing on the table with this fantastically gorgeous salad. So from our house to yours, you guys keep things tasty. We will see you next week.